The War Council had been in session for 6 hours. Around the obsidian table sat the fiercest warriors of the Velcari, empire beings whose ancestors had conquered 17 star systems through sheer ferocity and unmatched combat prowess. Their fur bristled with battle scars. Their claws gleamed in the dim light, and their voices rumbled like distant thunder as they debated the final assault on the human colony of Terra Nova. Commander Threx slammed his massive paw against the table. "We strike at dawn." "The humans are weak, fragmented. Their colony will fall within hours." The other warriors growled their agreement, fangs bared in anticipation. The Velcari had never lost a war. Their reputation as the galaxy's apex predators was unchallenged. And yet, something about the humans unsettled them, a strange unpredictability that defied logic. Then the doors exploded inward. Every warrior's hand flew to their weapons, plasma rifles charging with deadly hums. But what stood in the doorway made them freeze in a way no enemy ever had. A human. Not in power armor, not wielding some terrible weapon. Just a human male in simple clothing, his face smudged with dirt, his hair disheveled. And in his arms, cradled with impossible gentleness, were 3 Velcari cubs, snoring peacefully against his chest. The War Council erupted into chaos. Storm. The cry tore from General Kara's throat as she recognized the distinctive silver marking on one cub's forehead, her daughter. Missing for 2 days after wandering too far from the settlement, Daniel, the human, didn't flinch at the weapons pointed at him. He simply stood there, swaying slightly to keep the cubs comfortable, and spoke in halting but respectful Velcari. "Found them, Canyon, trapped, safe now." Threx's rifle trembled in his grip. The 3rd cub was his son. The translation software finally caught up and Daniel continued. "Rockslide. They were calling for help. I couldn't leave them." He took a step forward and 20 warriors tensed. But Daniel only moved to the nearest flat surface, the war table itself, scattering battle plans and holographic projections, and gently, so gently it made something crack in Threx's chest, laid the 3 cubs down on the smooth obsidian. Storm yawned in her sleep, tiny fangs gleaming. She clutched Daniel's finger like a lifeline. "The canyon." Daniel's voice was soft, careful not to wake them. "It's unstable. More slides coming. I marked the area. Your scouts should evacuate the southern dens." Kara's legs moved before her mind caught up. She crossed the room in 3 strides, towering over the human, and for a moment Daniel must have thought his death had come. But she only dropped to her knees beside her daughter, her massive paws trembling as they hovered over Storm's sleeping form, afraid to believe she was real. "How?" Kara's voice broke. "How did you reach them?" "That canyon drops 300 meters. Our own rescue teams couldn't rope climbing gear. Some luck?" Daniel shrugged, wincing as the movement pulled at obviously strained muscles. His hands were raw, bloody from the rope burns that even the War Council's advanced eyes could now see. "They were scared. Kept them talking. Told them stories until I could reach them." Threx set down his weapon. The sound of it clattering against the floor echoed like a gavel. "You climbed down alone," he said slowly, "into hostile territory, during a war. To save enemy cubs." Daniel looked at him with those strange human eyes. No slit pupils, no predatory gleam. Just an exhausted determination that somehow felt more powerful than any weapon. "They're not enemy cubs. They're just kids. Scared kids who needed help." The war table, that ancient symbol of Velcari conquest, was now a makeshift nursery. 3 cubs slept on, oblivious to the armed warriors surrounding them. Oblivious to the political catastrophe their rescue had created. Lieutenant Soar, the youngest warrior present, voiced what they were all thinking. "You walked into our war den, unarmed, carrying our children. You could have been killed on sight." "Yeah." Daniel's laugh was brittle. "Figured that might happen. But they needed their parents. Needed to come home." He paused, looking around at the assembled warriors. "Look, I know we're at war. I know you see us as weak. But my daughter is Storm's age. If she were trapped, terrified, calling for me, I'd want someone to help her. Even an enemy." Kara made a sound that was half growl, half sob. She carefully scooped Storm into her arms, and the cub instinctively nuzzled into her mother's fur, still deep in exhausted sleep. 2 other warriors claimed their cubs, tears streaming down battle-scarred faces. Threck approached Daniel slowly. The human didn't retreat, though he had to tilt his head back to meet the massive warrior's eyes. "You climbed into hell for children who are not your own," Threk said. "You risked your life during wartime to return them safely." "Why?" Daniel's answer was simple. "Because it was the right thing to do." The silence that followed was profound. Slowly, deliberately, Commander Threk, veteran of 40 campaigns, slayer of the Kreth Armada, destroyer of colonies, reached up and removed his combat insignia. He placed it on the war table. "This war is over," he declared. The council erupted in protest, but Threk's roar silenced them. "Any species that produces individuals like this, we do not fully understand. We call humans weak because they hesitate, because they value individual lives over strategic victory. We call it weakness." He looked at Daniel. "We were wrong. That is not weakness. That is a strength we never developed." He turned to his warriors. "We wage war to protect our cubs, our future. This human risked everything to do the same. What are we fighting for if we cannot recognize honor when it stands before us?" One by one, the weapons were lowered. One by one, the warriors approached, not to threaten but to see the human who had shattered their certainty. Daniel swayed on his feet, adrenaline finally fading. Kara caught him before he fell, her massive paw surprisingly gentle. "Rest, human," she said softly. "You have earned it." As Daniel's eyes closed, the last thing he heard was Storm's sleepy voice. "Mama, where's the nice man with the stories?" "He's here, little one. He's safe." In the morning, the Velcari Empire would send its first peace envoy to Terra Nova. The war that was supposed to end in conquest instead ended with the exhausted human carrying 3 sleeping cubs into the heart of enemy territory. Later, historians would call it the cradle armistice. The war ended not by weapons, but by the simple act of returning lost children home.